Hello, people, and welcome back to Life According to Nikki. If I sound a little lethargic, a little sleepy, it's because I am. It is 10:22 p.m., and, I was just in one of those weird moods where nothing sounded good as far as, TV, movie, couldn't decide what to watch. I didn't want to scroll on my phone anymore. I didn't want to have to re-download Instagram and then get sucked into the reels. I had already read the news for today. And then, I should absolutely be going to bed. I am tired, but it's one of those things where my mind is still racing. And I know that the second I lay down in that freaking bed, it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to just lull myself to sleep. No, my mind is going to keep going, and it's not going to relax. And really, I'm not even going to get to sleep until midnight anyways. So I might as well just have a stream of consciousness out loud in an attempt to get myself to be sleepy and go to bed. But it's just been one of those weeks where I have so much I have to do, and I'm not necessarily procrastinating, because I'm not a procrastinator in the sense that I don't know how the rest of you guys procrastinate. I don't know. I don't relate to when you guys talk about you haven't even started something and it's due that day. Can't relate to that. But I have procrastinated in the sense that I do have things that I need to get done. I still have 3 days, technically I have 5 days, but 3 short days that I can do that stuff, but that to me feels like I'm procrastinating. I should have done more today as far as my homework goes, but I didn't feel like it. I couldn't talk myself into it. I did some other stuff instead, but you know what I mean? You get what I'm saying when you just have so much going on, and so then you just start distracting yourself from it. You get in that procrastination mindset, and then you just feel unsettled and you feel stressed because guess what? You're not doing what you need to be doing. Yeah, that's where I'm at mentally. And so I know the second that my head hits that pillow, it's not going to be, sweet dreams for me. It's going to be the thought that I should have done more today. And I have due dates coming up and I just didn't want to think about it. So, in an attempt to not only, get myself all cozy and ready for bed mentally, I'm like a toddler who their mom puts out in the yard and is go run around, make yourself exhausted. That's me running my mouth. It's just to get me tired, but it's also for a way for me to filter out all of these thoughts so I can go to bed with a clear mind. So with all of that said, let's play my intro song and I'll tell you about all of the latest thoughts that I have been having. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that.
Starting up at the very top, guys, I have some big news. I, Nikki Kelly, have grown a fondness for an animal. I know. For anyone that recalls, back at the beginning of this podcast, I think it's my second episode or something. Hold on, I'm going to look this up. Let's see. I think I titled it I like that you like your dog or something like that. Let's see. Let's go back to the early days of my genius. I'm sure it was something witty and funny. I'll type in dog. Let's see. Episode 2. Hey, killer memory I have. Episode 2. I love that you love your dog. Yeah. In that episode, which, again, to this day, some of my first episodes, I think are the best things that I've ever produced. That episode, if I remember correctly, I went on a little tangent about my hatred of animals. Okay, hatred's strong. My dislike for the animal kingdom, and well, really the domestication of the animal kingdom. If we're gonna get down to it, all right, it's not that I don't like animals. What we really get to in the core of that episode is that I don't like dog owners. I got an issue with them. They are not great in my eyes because the majority of them are not good dog owners. They don't train their animal. But anyways, but just in general, I'm not a big animal gal. Just not my thing. Especially for household pets. If it's a dog, a cat, anything like that, do not even freaking get me started about the reptile situation, okay? Heck no. I don't want to see your snake. I don't want to touch your turtle. I don't want to, no. You have a tarantula? That's disgusting. That is vile. I'm scared of you. Okay, girl, what are we doing? I mean, love that for you, I guess. But no, thank you. No, Billie Eilish with her, tarantula on her face. No. No. Sorry to my neighbor as I'm in here yelling. Okay. Yeah. Animals in general, not really my thing. I do enjoy animals in the wild. Again, take me on a safari. Take me out in the ocean, snorkel or scuba gear. I'm there for it. Do not take me to a freaking zoo. Or worse, an aquarium. Oh my gosh, I hate going to those locations. I hate it. I will go. Sure, I'll go. Especially, if a child's involved, they think it's adorable. They think it's fun. Okay, fine. My niece, my nephew, my friends' kids. Okay, you know what? Sure, I'll go to an aquarium for you. Just know there is not one part of me that wants to go see the newest, polar bear or the newest, what is it? They're always having something, birth something. Even the little monkey Punch, who I was definitely obsessed with for at least a week there when Punch was in the news. This little monkey that was getting bullied by the other monkeys, and he had his stuffed orangutan as a mother. That was freaking cute. And I was very invested in that. And the pictures from that, oh my gosh, got me emotional. But, I would never go see Punch in the zoo. You get what I'm saying? I'm never going to go out of my way to see an animal in a domesticated setting. I will absolutely fly across this globe to go and see animals in the wild in Tanzania on the Serengeti. I will book a flight to go swim with humpback whales in Tonga. Yeah, you bet everything you own. I need to make money in my life so that I can actually go and do those things. But a zoo? Ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you. So, where did we begin? Where did we start this? Oh, right. Yeah. All of this leads to the shocking information that I'm about to reveal. There is a dog that lives here, where I live. And I see this dog every single day. The dog's name is Bruno. And do I know what type of dog Bruno is? No, I don't know dog brands. So he's okay, fine, I'll look it up. I think border collie. I feel like I've heard people say that he's a border collie. Do I even know what that is? No, I know what a golden retriever is. I know what a poodle is. What is a border collie? Border spelled Bouder, by the way. Apparently that's not the spelling, but that's how I spelled it. Okay, yeah, I think he is a border collie. A medium-sized, highly intelligent... That ain't this dog. But granted, okay, this dog speaks Spanish, okay? Its owners speak Spanish. So I'm going to give it to the animal that is probably confusing, every day everyone's speaking English to him downstairs, when he comes down, and like all the students and everybody here that's like throwing the ball for him is like, sit and like get me your ball. That's probably confusing for him because he's not bilingual. He clearly only speaks Spanish. But it really does make him look so stupid. An energetic herding dog originating in the Scotland-England border. Okay, I'm just gonna guess he's a border collie. I don't know, could be wrong, but sure, kind of looks like him, I guess. Not the black and white. He's a different color, but okay. There's this dog, Bruno, and the place that I live at and work at, how it's structured is like it's a very dog-friendly place. So my boss, he comes into work and he brings his dog, Bruno, and so Bruno like lives here. So the first half of the day, like Bruno comes at 8:30 in the morning and is out like in the courtyard area. And all of the students that come and pass through, and are going about their day, they will come down and they'll like throw the ball for Bruno. And there's also 2 cats as well. Severely allergic to all of them, by the way. So I constantly have to block my door to my desk to prevent said animals into my space because I am allergic. But even if I wasn't allergic, I don't want you in my space. I don't want your freaking claws scratching at me to kick your ball. And I don't want some cat coming on my lap and snuggling up. Like, no, I'm working. This is a working environment, but everyone's here, like, is so pet friendly. So every single day I have this dog that I am obviously exposed to, and multiple times a day, I have to get up to go to the printer, get up and like do stuff and blah, 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 blah. And every time I get up, Bruno's there waiting for me to kick his ball, to throw his ball, to like whatever. He's constantly like pushing the ball against my door, disrupting me all day. And gosh dang it, he's kind of cute now. He got to me. He did. It's taken over a year. But the other day, I was like, all right, he's kind of cute. Still wouldn't want one, but I think, I have grown. I have come to a place, and every morning I get to work, and the 2 cats, Joy and Joe, I say good morning to them. I say, hi, Joe, good morning. Good morning, Joy. Good morning, Bruno. And, I think that that's a big step for me. My dog-loving friends back home would be proud. So Bruno and I would say we're friends. Sure. That feels like too strong of a word. I do more than tolerate him now, though. I do appreciate his presence and the light that he brings into others' lives. And he makes me laugh. He makes me giggle because he is so incredibly stupid. This dog, in some ways, is so dumb. But also, it makes him quirky and funny. There's one thing about him is he always has to have some sort of ball in his mouth. And he absolutely refuses to drop that ball and give it to you to throw, but he'll come over to you and he will nudge with his nose a second ball to get that one, and then he wants you to like kick or throw the second ball, and you do that, he'll run, again, ball in mouth is occupied, and then he'll like literally like he's playing freaking soccer. With his paws and his nose, he will bring that ball back to you the whole time, maintaining the one that's in his mouth. And so a lot of times he'll come up to you without the second ball because, he doesn't know where it is, or he hasn't gotten it yet or whatever. It's like in the yard. So he'll run over to you, like really excited, like, oh my gosh, perfect, a person to throw my ball. but he's not pushed his second ball towards you. So all you have is the one that's in his mouth. And so, I'm constantly like, Bruno, drop your ball, dude. I'll throw it. I'll kick it, whatever. But he refuses. He refuses. So then he looks at me with his little puppy eyes, being like, I don't know what to do. Because I can't give you the one in my mouth. But, like, I do want you to throw a ball. And I'm like, I'm not going to walk across the entire yard to wherever your second ball is when you have one right in front of me in your mouth. So, anyways, we have this argument every day. And obviously, there is a language barrier. So, oh my gosh. Yeah. It has grown on me. It's hilarious. Each and every day, it's like a little comedy that I'm a part of. It's a little skit that we do, and we just like run it every day. And he is quite impressive with his soccer skills. That I will give him massive credit for. This dog absolutely, like, he plays freaking defense. Okay, because if you kick the ball, like, he will immediately stop that with his paws and, like, nudge it back to you. Like, he's playing soccer with you. Again, all while his mouth is maintained by another, football or soccer or tennis ball or whatever. So you always have to, like, chuck it or else he just ends up playing soccer with you. So, did you need me to go on, a 13-minute rant about Bruno? No, but that's where my mind's at. I can't believe that I have grown to love an animal in the way that I have. Like, I am going to miss Bruno. I'm going to miss Bruno. Wow. That is quite the revelation. Wow. I probably miss him in the same way that, like, I missed my dog, where I, like, reminisced and was like, oh, I miss TK. That was my dog's name growing up. I know, you would all think that my distaste for animals, I didn't grow up with one. Nope. You're wrong. I did grow up with an animal. TK was his name. Tiancum Kelly. TK for short. And what was I going to say about my dog? My dog was a mutt. Kind of border collie sized. Very pretty coloring. He was like German Shepherd colored. But anyways, when I left, for my mission and like for college and whatever, I was like, aw, bye TK. But did I ever dwell on it? No. It never, and then, I would go back home and I'd be like, oh yeah, we have a dog. And then when he died, that was sad. I was sad for like, a good 12 hours. I was like, oh man, so many memories with that animal. But, at the end of the day, it was just an animal, and having now lost multiple people in my life, yeah, let me tell you, that crap's different. Like, that's not the same. They don't have the same value to me. And I totally get that some people are animal people and, like, that is your best friend or that is your baby and your child and, like, their deaths have so big of an impact. And I'm really not trying to, like, lessen that because I get that it can absolutely be that for people. It just isn't that for me. And that's okay. That's okay. We're all different. I just constantly feel the need to defend myself when it comes to animals and my, like, dislike of them. I'm not a psycho, okay? I'm not a psycho, because guess what? I kind of like Bruno. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'm just gonna rant for a second here. So I'm reading through my notes that I have on my phone where, I just basically write down anything and everything that I could potentially talk about on this podcast. And one of them, this is from like almost a year ago now, honestly. This is many, many, many months ago that this happened. But I'm going to talk about it now because I think it's relevant. So, many months ago, I was at a activity for my church. I was in the young women's program at the time. I was like one of the leaders over the young women's youth group, and we went to this soccer game. Footy? No. Footy's a different sport here. Football. There we go. A football game for those of you that are not American. But for my Americans out there, it was a soccer game. And we went to the soccer stadium, and anyways, I ended up getting sat next to this couple that I had not met. They are not of my congregation. We were combining with another congregation. Hopefully I haven't told this story before. I'm having this moment right now that I'm like, have I talked about this? I don't know, maybe I have. If not, we're bringing it back. So anyways, I'm sitting down and I introduce myself to the woman sitting next to me. And we're part of the same religion, and she asked me what I do for work. And so I tell her, I'm a sexologist. I'm here getting my master's, kind of give her a little bit about that. And she says, and this is what I have written down, and I remember this very vividly. She then immediately said, "Is there a ring on your left hand?" She said those words to me. She leaned over because, my hand was to my side. And she goes, "Is there a ring on your left hand?" And I show her my left hand and I said, "No." And then she said to me the words, hold on, I have them written. She said, "Then what could you possibly know?" And, that is something that is just so interesting to me. Because on the one hand, so fair, totally gets you, girl. I'm with you. What could you possibly know? Your immediate reaction. This is a woman who's had 9 kids. She's been around the block. And, she's seeing me, this single person. Again, she doesn't know anything about me, but she immediately assumes that there's nothing I could know in my field of study. And it's just, sometimes I think about it now that I'm in this field and I study it and things, and I'm like, there are so many fields to go into in this world. And I really wonder if any of them get as much questioning as I do. I mean, one of the leading researchers for prostate cancer rehabilitation is a woman. The leading researchers on preeclampsia, men. We just have people in these careers. We have marriage and family therapists that aren't married. Is that your first question that you ask your therapist when you go in for couples counseling and stuff? Is are you married? Do they have to be? I mean, I totally get obviously their own experience can help them, but also, is that 100% a qualification for something? I mean, there's a lot of people that will study other languages. They'll do Arabic studies or Middle Eastern studies, and it's some white guy from Provo, Utah. But are we questioning them? I don't feel like we're questioning them as much as the sexuality field. And also, I'm sorry, but I'm in these classes with people of all different ages, all different backgrounds and things, and I'm not immediately thinking well, they must know everything that there is to know about sex in order to be in this career. But also maybe I'm biased on that front because I know that that's ridiculous to think that everyone in the room is going to be able to know everything about the topic from their own personal experience. But they can know a lot from their studies. Anyways, what am I even saying? What I'm saying is this woman sat there and immediately assumed that there was nothing that I could possibly know. And I was able to have a really good conversation with her about this. And I told her how I speak to all different congregations of people, and especially women. I speak to a lot of different women. And then she said that she wouldn't have me come speak to her congregation of women because most of them are widows. And that was just really sad to me because I was like, that's absolutely an audience I would love to speak to and could absolutely speak to when it comes to the topic of sex and sexuality. Just because you've written them off, just because you assume that they're asexual, what, because their spouse is dead? Like, their spouse was not the owner of their sexuality. And it's unfortunate that we, especially in a religious sense, have that narrative that our sexuality is belonged by someone else, that they hold the permission to it, and that they can revoke it at any time, and that they somehow are the overseers of what we're allowed to do with it. And that's been taught by society, that's been taught in religion, in my religion, and it's just not cool. For lack of a eloquent, I'm too tired to be eloquent. It's just how stupid that we have just allowed that to be the narrative for so long. That this woman is sitting there telling me that, she has a congregation full of women in their 60s and 70s and 80s that couldn't possibly benefit from a conversation about female sexual health. And I'm sitting there going, that's exactly why they could, is because you believe that they couldn't. Do you know how many people just assume that age or disability or marital status means that you no longer have sexual feelings, desires, wants, abilities to just express your sexuality in some way, that your sexuality is somehow limited to only being able to be expressed with a man. That's one narrative that we have, and also in the only way that men enjoy it to be expressed. Again, taking away a lot of empowerment for women and women's pleasure and how our bodies actually work. None of that is considered. And it's just disappointing. And this is the whole reason I study this topic. Is because of women like this that I sit next to and that make these assumptions and that immediately question me. And, how I could possibly have any sort of competency in something that I've now devoted years and years of my life to. The amount of literature that I have read, the amount of work that I have done, the people I have talked to, the workshops I've conducted, none of it. It all means nothing if I don't have a ring on my finger, some man who somehow legitimizes my entire existence, my entire career. Because that's the thing, is if I just would have had a ring on my left hand, all of a sudden, I would have been an expert in my field. For all she would know, maybe I don't even, if I had a spouse and we're not having sex and we're not having a healthy relationship, she wouldn't know any of that, but she would all of a sudden have confidence in what I was going to tell her because I had something that verified that, I had a man in my life. I don't know. It's not an uncommon occurrence for me, but I remember that being, particularly impactful because of the way that she was so blunt with how could you possibly know anything. And I was like, oh well, usually people are a little bit more passive aggressive about that question, but you just really came out there and said it, didn't you? But the reason that this is on my mind, and the reason I'm even bringing this up again, if I brought it up before, I don't even remember, is because last week I did teach a congregation of women, the majority of which are not only widowed, but divorced, single, in their 70s, 80s. I taught my congregation, my local church congregation. They asked me to come and do women's female sexual health And I was like, absolutely, I would love to do that. So I went and I taught a 2-hour workshop on women's female sexual health. And guess what? Everyone freaking loved it, for one, and every single person in that room walked away learning something. And guess who they learned it from? They learned it from me. And it's not because I'm, some genius or whatever. No, it's because I care about this topic. So I'm not just going to talk out of my butt. Like, obviously, I know I'm going into this with the immediate perception that I know nothing. So I really have to prove myself here, guys. Like, you don't think that I know that? Trust me. You all make it so clear how much I have to know that. Like, you guys make it such a big deal that it makes it a big deal for me, and I just don't think it should be, but it still is. And it irritates me sometimes that, like, somehow my relationship status, like, is directly tied to my competency in my career. It's so frustrating because it's like, it also hurts because that's not something I have a whole lot of control over, okay? That's someone else's decision as well. Like, do you know how hard it is to meet people? 2026? Do you know how difficult it is? You don't, because you're freaking married, and then you question me. And guess what? You're married, and a lot of you have terrible freaking relationships. So, a lot of you guys have just terrible sex lives and horrible, like, it's just awful. And yet, guess what? I'm able to look at that completely unbiased and say, well, that's unhealthy. And let me tell you why. Because I'm able to see things clearly. I don't have something clouding my judgment on your situation. I am a third-party observer here, and I can tell you where we're maybe going wrong and how we can potentially fix that. And I've helped so many people, and it's just been so fun to, like, be this third-party person that gets to just come in and give some suggestions, give some education, and then see people's lives change. Like, that's just so rewarding to me. And if only everyone could see that. And anyways, okay, I'm getting off track. Going back to, I taught this class, and it was so great, you guys. It was so great. It's the oldest audience that I've ever taught. And I don't want to say I was nervous at all, but I did make sure that my material and stuff covered a little bit more on the later sexual years, like post-menopause and things like that, because I knew that that would be a good topic for my audience. But, when we were just talking about basic female anatomy, when we were talking about the clitoris, which, big freaking news, the clitoris, for the first time in human history, 25 days ago, was mapped out, 3D, mapped out for the nerves for the first time. Yeah, it's not even been a month since that happened. For the first time in history, the nerves of the clitoris were finally mapped out. It's one of the least studied organs in the human body, and yet 50% of the population has it as an organ in their body. Isn't that crazy? So, anyways, I was teaching about the clitoris and about female arousal and blood flow and the nerves and how they work, and just to see this room full of women learning this for the first time in their lives. Oh, it's exhilarating. It was just absolutely amazing. I love it. It never gets old. I love seeing that. And one of the women, she was so sweet. She was a nurse in her professional life. She's now in her 70s or 80s. And she was asking really great questions and had comments. And she had this one comment on that particular portion of the slides and what I was teaching. And she said, how wonderful it was that the younger generation gets this information, has access to this, and how unfortunate it is that her generation never learned this, never had access to this knowledge. and how that's affected, all of us, her daughters, her granddaughters. And it was just this beautiful moment to see her reflect on how important she viewed this information that I was able to teach, and like how she found it valuable right then and there, this information. That this was something that she didn't know, she now learned, and she can now do something with this information at, 75, 80 years old. And that now she can like teach her daughters and teach her granddaughters. And I don't know, it was this beautiful moment that I was like, wow, I am so, so lucky that I get to do this and that I get to give this information out. Like, this is just such important information. And it reminded me of that woman there at that soccer game that said, that there's certain women that wouldn't benefit from this because of their age, because of their marital status, because of whatever. And there I was in a room full of women that I was told that, wouldn't benefit from this. And every single one of them said that they did. Also, another incredible moment was at the very, very end, where the whole thing's finished, we're snacking, we're having a, great time just chatting after it was finished. And during my presentation, at one point I had been asked a question about my own like celibacy and how I'm able to like embrace my sexuality, and like how am I able to take what I'm teaching into my life and how I choose to live as someone who is choosing abstinence before marriage. And it was a really great question. And I just kind of talked a bit about my journey and also how I came to learn that my sexuality has so many different sides to it and that they're all mine. Every single side is mine to own. And it's not, it doesn't have this like lack of importance just because it's not being used. Does that make sense? Like, it's not like I'm not allowed to like tap into this part of myself, and the only time that I am is if it's for someone else. That's just a really unhealthy way to view our bodies in general, as if they have no validity unless they are being used for someone else, either to give someone pleasure, to help someone, to give something. Like, no, it's mine before it's yours. And actually, it'll never be fully yours. It's mine, it's my choice. But I even mean that in like the sense of like non-sexual things, like what I choose to do with my time and with my energy and with my body, the way that I use my hands to help others and to reach out, and I use my voice to connect with other people, and my feet to take me over to a neighbor's house to help them move. Like, these are ways in which I can use my body and I can make choices, but it's mine. It's my choice to make. It's my body. And the motivation to help someone or anything like that, that's not a bad motivation, but the motivation is needing to come from me. Does that make sense? Am I making any sense? It's probably, it's 11 o'clock, so probably not. But what I was saying to this woman was, for the part of my sexuality that is sensual, that is, has the ability to move and be fluid and graceful and be sexy and have this connectiveness to it, those are all different parts. And so for me, I had to find different avenues to celebrate that part of myself, to learn about that part of myself, to give it space, and to work on that part of myself in a way that has felt aligned with my values, with who I want to be as a person, how I want to be in relation to my sexuality, how I want to be in relation to others. That I don't want to use my sexuality in a way that manipulates someone else or is to just feed my own ego or anything like that, but it truly is a way for me to grow and learn and to celebrate the amazing gifts that I have that is provided through my sexuality. So all of this to say, I talked about my journey into pole dancing and into chair dancing and how that's just been such a great way for me to tap into that sensual part of my sexuality, that creativeness, that grace, these parts of myself that I thought had to be locked down until I'm married, when that's just not true. And the confidence that it has given me by really embracing these parts of myself, developing these parts of myself in environments that have felt safe to me, that have felt liberating, that have also, again, felt in line with my values, has been just an amazing thing for me and opened up just so many parts of myself that I was not giving myself access to out of fear. And now that I do have greater access, if anything, I feel like the more I am acquainted with these parts of myself, the more conservative in my choices I actually am because these parts of me have so much importance, and I'm like, you don't just get this for free. Like, I'm not just getting, like, no. I need someone to be respectful, and like, because I know what I have to give. I know what I am capable of. I know how great I am. So, if anything, it's made me be less accepting of someone who's just there where I can tell, oh, you just want me to feed your ego. Like, I'm not here to feed your ego. Like, I'm a full person. I am a strong, confident woman. I'm not just here, please make me feel like a woman and I don't know who I am, and so please tell me who I am and tell me I'm beautiful. No, I no longer need that. I'd like it. I'm able to choose it now. I want that. I don't need it anymore, though. So if I'm gonna have that, I'm going to choose it. It's not gonna be coming from a place of me needing it and then getting myself in a bad relationship or something because I'm trying to get something that I need. I have it now. I fully have it. And so when someone does compliment me or something, I'm able to accept that more graciously and again with more confidence. If someone says something positive about me, I believe them because I've discovered it myself. I see that those things can be true. Like, other people are seeing what is there and that already existed. You get me? You get me? Well, I was sharing about chair dancing, pole dancing, how, it's been great for me. It's not for everybody. There's other avenues for all different types of people. Maybe artwork, maybe music, maybe different types of dance, maybe sports is this way to really express this part of you and to feel a certain way. We need to find outlets for ourselves and find ways to develop and strengthen these parts of our character that are in connection to our sexuality. So at the very end, we're snacking, and one of the ladies, she asks me, Nikki, what was that you were talking about with chair dancing? She goes, is that like chair yoga? And I said, no, it's quite a bit more sensual than that. I said, well, I can show you. So I put on a little song, Michael Bublé, Spicy Margarita with Jason Derulo. And I grab a chair and I give him a little, 15-second demo of what a little chair dance would look like. and, this like sexy, spicy little thing. Well, these women, they turn, the one that had asked me, she turns to the other women and she goes, we should do this as the next activity. And then these women all agree. And they're like, oh, that would be so fun. And you guys, this, I have to admit, I have to make a confession. This was such a good moment for me because even though I had prepared this whole lesson, this 2-hour thing for these women, knowing that age does not matter, that you have your sexuality from the moment you're born to the day you die. I explain that. I explain how our sexuality grows and it goes through different phases, and there's people that work in palliative care, for people who are about to die, and they help them make sure that they fulfill their sexual needs and wants and desires even if they're dying. Like, that this is a thing. Like, this is something that people want and they care about. And I give this whole 2-hour lesson on that. And yet, in that moment, when the one woman turned to the others and said, we should do that for the next activity, I was shocked. And when they all agreed, I was more shocked. I was like, no way. No way. These 60, 70-year-olds want to do this, And again, that was just such a good moment for me to check myself. And I had spoken about all these things, and I talk about it in my classes and all my studies. We talk about how important it is to be speaking about and learning about sexuality throughout your entire life, and that it doesn't just fade away just because you're older. And yet, in that same moment, I'm underestimating these women and what they may or may not like, and I'm instantly putting these I'm stigmatizing? No. What is the word I'm trying to look for? When I'm assuming that they're going to judge me, I'm assuming that they're going to be prudish and they won't be into this, when in fact it's the opposite. And why would I assume that it would be anything other than what I literally know, what the data shows? Of course, there's going to be women in all age demographics that this isn't their thing. I talk about chair dancing class and maybe I show a little 15-second thing and they go, yeah, no thanks. That's a little weird for me. That's a little too out there. That's going to be true in any age group, in any religious sect, in any non-religious sect. That's going to be true. There's going to be people who like that and people who don't. But the fact that this room full of women wanted more, that they wanted this way, and they were like, oh, that'll be so fun. And sure enough, an hour later, it was scheduled. So next month, I'm going to be teaching a chair dancing class in my church building to a bunch of women in their 60s and their 70s. And I'm so excited about it. And I think it's just the most wonderful thing ever. Also, so excited to have that story for the rest of my life, and that I'm going to get to tell people forever about it. But bringing it all full circle, I think it just proves how needed this career that I've gone into is, and what a privilege I have to be that person that gets to open up this conversation, that gets to be the one to give permission to a lot of different types of people that's all they've been looking for, is they just need someone to say, yeah, it's okay to talk about this. Yeah, it's totally normal that you still want a sex life in your 80s. It actually makes complete sense. Yeah, it's just because you're older doesn't mean that you don't want to feel sexy, and that you shouldn't still be developing your sensual side and your creative side and your graceful side. all these different sides, they still continue to develop well into your life. There's no stopping point for that. But yet we as a society have said, well, you can't start until you're married. And then you must stop once you're past the age of about 45 is when it starts getting inappropriate. Maybe 50. But, anything after that, sorry, that no longer applies to you. You don't get to have that anymore. And it's just these outside sources giving permission and then taking it away. I'm sorry, that's not yours to give or take. This is something I was gifted to by God. All right? So back up. My sexuality was given to me. I was born with it. And gosh darn it, I am going to develop it because it's a really important part of myself. It's a huge way of how I relate to the world, how I relate to people in relationships, the way I speak to people, the way that I connect with people, the way that I see and understand intimacy. Intimacy is deep friendship. It doesn't necessarily have to be sexual to be intimate, but if I'm so afraid of intimacy in any sense, that is going to negatively affect my life. Absolutely. And I see that occur constantly. That's why I have so many couples that are just unable to be intimate with each other, is because they have never developed this part of themselves. And even just their, family relationships, their friendships, their relationship with themselves. Are you a good friend to you? Do you have a deep friendship with who you are? Because if you don't have that with you, babe, you can't develop that with others. It's going to be real hard because you're pulling from an empty well. Like, you can't find yourself in someone else. You can grow and become more than you are. Absolutely. You can find parts of yourself and learn about parts of yourself through others. Absolutely. That's why connection is so important. But your relationship with yourself, that has to come from you. Someone else can't do that work for you. I'm so sorry to break it to you. It's like someone else, you have to feed yourself, right? Like, you could watch people all day, every day, eating food. That will not nourish you. You have to feed yourself. You have to make sure that it's going in. And the way that you talk to yourself, the way that you view who you are, it matters. It absolutely matters. It dictates the types of relationships you'll get in, the type of love you think you deserve, the type of love you give. It all hinges on how well you love yourself and if you feel that you are worthy of love from others. And newsflash, you don't have to do anything to be worthy. If you feel like you have to meet some milestone and work real hard and then people will love you, you're on the wrong track. You are worthy just because you exist. Because you were born that way. Again, it's not something that others can give or take away. It exists in you. You have to find it. And then once you do, it'll really bring a lot of clarity to a lot of different things in your life. But if you're scared of it, if you suppress it, if you avoid it, if you put it in someone else's hands, none of that is really going to lead you to where you ultimately want to be, which is in healthy, intimate relationships with other people. But in order to have that, you need to have that with yourself. So, there you go. There's my little rant of the evening. You gotta love yourself, girl. I don't know what else to tell you. And if if that's hard, if that doesn't feel doable, there's a lot of people that can help. There's professionals, there's books, there's courses, there's so many things. Start with things that you like. Go take a course in something that, makes you excited. Even if you're so bad at it, so what? So what? You're not there to be good at it. You're there because you want to be there. You're there to learn about yourself. You're there to succeed and you're there to fail, and you're there to go after your passions because you understand that your passions and your desires matter, because you respect yourself enough to know that by just living life the way that everyone around you wants you to live it, that's not your life. This is yours. You have no idea how long you're going to be on this planet. Not one clue when that day is just going to be finished, and then you won't get another one. So you have got to use this time to go after what your heart sings about, what your brain can't stop thinking about, the thing that makes you smile to yourself, the thing that gets you out of bed. That's what you've got to go towards, because you deserve to be happy, to be joyful, to connect, to develop your talents, to be bad at things, be good at things. You deserve the whole experience that this life has to offer you. And if you are privileged enough to live in a country that allows for that, to have an able body that allows for that, to have the finances, that you are not desolately poor and, every day struggling to survive, if you are privileged enough to not be, debilitated by addiction, or to be able to, go to college, and there are so many people that don't have the opportunities that you do. So if you have those, girl, don't waste it. Do not waste it on thinking that you're somehow, that you're dumb, or you're not pretty, or that you have no value, or that you only have value if a man tells you you do, or, if other women think that you do. No! Oh, what a freaking waste. What a waste of not just one gift you've been given. You've been given 10 million gifts. And you're just sitting in a room with them all wrapped up, arms folded, pouting. I never get anything. Are you serious? Open it up. Open it up and go out and use it. You've got to figure this out. Seriously. You are so incredible, so gifted. So use them. Use them. Use your gifts to bless your life. And then when your life is blessed, you can also bless others. That's just the cherry on freaking top of the whole thing, is that when you're doing what you love, when you are just excited and loving life, that resonates. That brings you in better connection with people around you. You're able to meet more people, be exposed to more things that are more delightful. It just adds more. That's just the beauty of it all, is the more that you go after things that you're passionate about, and the things that you love, and the things that make you happy and make your soul just giddy inside and sparkle, that reverberates out, and then you get more and more given to you. You connect better because you have more to connect. I don't know how much more I can just beat this dead horse, It has been deceased a while now. Okay, I should go to bed now. It's 11:25. I think I'm thoroughly tired. I have once again Just found myself in the place I always end up. I usually end up in one of two places. Either just basically screaming at women to love themselves, because if more women love themselves, they'll be less accepting of bad behavior. It will also, it'll bring so much creativity and beauty and color to the world, because women have so much of that to give. And then men might actually have a chance to like discover that they're more than just what they can be for a woman, then we can help them too. Like, it just helps everyone if a woman actually just goes after her passions and stops comparing herself to everyone around her. Ugh. You're beautiful, you're pretty, but it's also, girl, the least important part about you. You're someone who's capable of so much more than just being pretty. Ugh. Such a waste. Such a waste of who we are and our capacity. We are gods. So yeah, my conversations either go there or they'll do the opposite if we're going more on the male side of me. Never giving up the idea that men need to call out other men and that they are the ones causing their own oppression. And if more men called out bad behavior, not only would it benefit women, but it would actually benefit men. And that in a lot of ways, men, I sometimes believe that they do have more barriers I have to tread carefully on this one because the context matters, but men do have a lot more barriers when it comes to gender stereotypes and gender roles in being better, because for women, we have a lot of other women that are willing to like stand up with us, and we have a lot more available to us, whereas for men, they are so restricted and this is what it is to be a man. And it just is the most negative parts. It's so limiting. It's limiting to them as well, just in the same way that you're being pretty is like just so stupid and unimportant when it comes to being a woman. Being like this, some strong man is the least. It's so stupid and unimportant. There's so much more to it. Like, are you able to feel good about yourself? It's the same lecture, just painted different. It's just, it's the same lecture. Because if we all just freaking loved ourselves more, and if we had more compassion, and we went after things we loved, oh, the world would be a better place, let me tell you. And I'm not saying that, you should just be entitled and do whatever you want. No. Because in fact, the more that you love yourself, the more that you are grounded in reality of your own capabilities, but also your own faults, and that you no longer look at your faults as like detriments to who you are, but rather a really great area that you can work on. And it's so cool because you're like, I want to develop this part of myself. I want to do better. I want to be better because I owe it to me, because I find it worth it. Okay. I think this has been good. This has been cathartic. Thank you for joining me. On a future episode coming soon, I will be discussing my latest watches. So as a little teaser, I'll tell you what I've been watching recently. I watched the second installment of Company Retreat. Not Company Retreat, sorry, Jury Duty. So if we all know how much I love Jury Duty, the second installment is called Company Retreat. I watched that. Trust Me, The False Prophet. Okay, cult documentary. Wuthering Heights, the new one with Jacob Elordi and gosh dang it, I forgot her name. Margot Robbie. The Woman King, one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Can't believe I've never heard of it. The Woman King, 10 out of 10. Kidnapped, the Elizabeth Smart story, and School Spirits as well. So that is coming to an episode near you soon on some future date. Sorry, I bumped the table. But I love you all. I hope you all have a great night. I hope you give yourself a really good pep talk today and you go sign up for some class or hobby or go buy something. I don't know. Go do something with the gifts that you've been given, okay? Go work towards something. Because we need you to like yourself more. Bye-bye. Night-night. Thanks for listening to my thoughts on life, because this has been Life According to Nikki.